Trevor Lawrence has tested positive for the coronavirus. He will miss this Saturday's game against Boston College. He is isolating with mild symptoms. They play Notre Dame a week from Saturday. There are so many questions. Let's bring in Dr. Myron Rolle, who is a neurosurgeon resident and now charged with treating COVID patients. And of course, we remember he was a great safety at Florida State in the NFL. Myron, it's great to see you again. So let's start with this. A young athlete like Trevor Lawrence, who is obviously in great shape, what is the recovery process like for someone like him with mild symptoms?
Well, thanks for having me. His recovery is going to be tough, certainly, because he's obviously used to working out and being in an environment with other players in a situation where he may be exposed over and over again and sort of restart his clock of being positive for COVID. But he does have the advantage of being young. He has the advantage of having no comorbidities and not being sick at baseline, right? So that's helpful for him. But I think right now the focus needs to be on the isolation, making sure that he's away from any other further exposures, making sure that he's taken care of, his symptoms are managed the best way they possibly could be, making sure that we stay alert and stay vigilant to his oxygen consumption status. That's obviously very important because we don't want something long lasting to affect this young man's career or affect his life once football is done. That's important.
Of course. Yes. First, foremost, and forever. His health is the most important part of this conversation. Period. New paragraph. The football side of it obviously is of interest to a lot of people. They play Notre Dame a week from tomorrow. If Trevor Lawrence clears protocols, could we expect him reasonably to be physically prepared for that game?
I'd say no. I'm very conservative. I look at the patients that we handle here at Mass General Hospital, the patients that I've operated on who've had COVID-19, patients who have been exposed to staff members who have COVID-19. They go in isolation. They're on droplet contact and airborne precautions. They're tested with rapid PCR tests consistently, even if they're ready to go to a rehab facility or go home because they've cleared PT or something like that. We're very conservative, but we're also very proactive in the sense that we want to make sure that everyone is very, very healthy before they step out into the community. And I think the same thing needs to be true here. If the NCAA, NFL, college, high school, other systems want to be serious about a premium on their athletes and their families, then they'll go very, very slow to make sure that these players are absolutely clear and that they don't jeopardize, again, their future as a football player, as an athlete, but also as a human that has to live with maybe some of the uncertainties of what COVID can do in the long term.
Dr. Myron Rolle, thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for the insight you shared with us here, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you for making the time for us. There's one other thing I wanted to get in here from the world of college football, obviously in a different but similar vein. The Big Ten has nixed a proposed deal that would have allowed Nebraska to play this weekend. Their game against Wisconsin was scheduled. They tried to reschedule a game against an FCS team, Chattanooga. This is the latest controversy between Nebraska and the Big Ten as the conference said no. Paul Finebaum, Nebraska released a statement expressing disappointment in the Big Ten not allowing them to play. What is your reaction to all of this?
Nebraska is a total embarrassment these days, Greeny. I don't even know where to begin other than to say they've been in the Big Ten for 10 years, and the only major championship they've won is the league's biggest crybaby. And the athletic director, in trying to defend playing Chattanooga, said, well, it could be an important data point for the CFP. Nebraska and the CFP, I've got a better chance of winning the country's most sexiest man than Nebraska has of going to the CFP this year.
In all honesty, you have my vote for that. So I disagree with your premise, but I do agree with your thought. So just to make it 100% clear, you believe that the Big Ten has it right. Their policy is games that are unable to be played on time, they are canceled. They're not postponed. You're on that side.
Greeny, after all the delays and restarts, the Big Ten came up with a specific season. We're playing each other. We're not playing Chattanooga. So why Nebraska wants to go rogue? Remember, Nebraska used to be in the Big 12. They thought they were too good for that, and they joined the Big Ten. They ought to get out of the Big Ten and find someplace where they could rule the roost because they don't belong in the Big Ten any longer.
All right, there you have it. So again, Nebraska, they were supposed to play Wisconsin tomorrow. Wisconsin has an outbreak that includes 6 of their players and their head coach, Paul Chryst. That game won't be played, and Nebraska won't play this weekend either. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.